When we avoid difficult conversations, we trade short-term discomfort for a long-term problem. We repeat what we don't repair. Don't ignore a problem you see coming from a mile away. That foresight is a gift. Don't squander it. Sacrificing long-term joy for short-term pleasure is the easiest recipe for regret. If you stay too long in a bad situation, you'll forget it's bad and get comfortable, while the best years of your life just pass you by. What you don't change, you choose every day. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. Don't fear failure. Fear being in the exact same place next year as you are today. You will never be 100% sure about a decision, but always make a decision because it's better to go back and fix it than to never make it at all. Avoid people who use their pain as an excuse to hurt you. Don't let loneliness drive you to make temporary decisions with long-term consequences. Just because a decision hurts doesn't mean it was the wrong one. Often there is a time gap between knowing better and doing better. An apology without change is just a manipulation. You already know what you need to do. You're just pretending you don't. But once you stop, things will fall into place faster than you think. It's okay to be sad after making the right decision. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. You don't have to rebuild a relationship with everyone you've forgiven. The cost of procrastination is the life you could have lived. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. One of the fastest ways to improve your life is to simply do what you said you were going to do. The worst lie you can tell is the lie you tell yourself. Have firm boundaries and be discerning about who you let into your life. If you wouldn't take advice from them, why would you take criticism? If you're willing to sacrifice what you want most for what you want now, then your future will always be filled with disappointment. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. Being ready is a myth. You start, you suck, you figure it out, you get better. The short-term pain of accepting the truth is much better than the long-term pain of believing an illusion. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. It's easy to fool someone. It's hard to convince them that they've been fooled. Once someone has spent enough time cultivating bad habits and biding their time, they are much diminished. Much of what they could have been has dissipated. Change is scary because known challenges and pain are easier to accept than unknown ones. Your respect at most places is directly proportional to your bank balance. You don't get results by focusing on results. You get results by focusing on the habits and behaviors that produce results. Control your thoughts, or your thoughts will control you. A lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Rowing harder doesn't help if the boat is headed in the wrong direction. Not how long, but how well you have lived is the main thing. Change is never painful. Only resistance to change is painful. Be sure to spend time with your parents while you can, because one day when you look up from your busy life, they won't be there anymore. Save a little money every week or month. Nothing gives you happiness like a financial buffer, believe it or not. Perfectionism is a disease. Procrastination is a disease. Action is the cure. Sometimes the mind knows the answer, but the heart does not like it. Boundaries won't make you lose friends and relationships. They'll make you lose pretenders and manipulators. Keep your distance from people who will never admit they are wrong and always try to make you feel like it's all your fault. Sometimes the weight you need to lose isn't on your body. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Avoid making decisions when you're angry, and avoid making promises when you're happy. You think you know someone, but mostly you just know what you want to know. The most important skill in the 21st century is the ability to happily live with uncertainty. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. The art of life is a constant readjustment to our surroundings. Before you are old, attend as many funerals as you can bear and listen. Nobody talks about the departed's achievements. The only thing people will remember is what kind of person you were while you were achieving. You may not lead a comfortable life with a single source of income. You need to build others. Action breeds more clarity than thought. So you can't think your way into a new life. You have to act your way into one. Rule your life with your mind, not with your feelings. Every bad decision we have made in life, there was more emotion in it than there was mind. Every single one. Don't say yes to everyone to make them comfortable. Check with yourself too before you commit. Actions prove who someone is. Words just prove who they pretend to be. Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. Not everything in this world should be your problem. Some things are simply none of your business. Focus on the issues that affect you directly. You will be much happier that way. The chief trick to making good mistakes is not to hide them, especially not from yourself. The longer you live in the past, the less future you have to enjoy. Money is a tool, not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Motivation often comes after starting, not before. Smart people stop overthinking once they understand that the best decisions require more gut feeling than pure intellect. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Never trust what someone says. Watch what they do. It is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. A little foolishness, enough to enjoy life, and a little wisdom to avoid the errors. That will do. Mistakes won't hold you back. Not learning from them will. Your mental state determines your experience of life. Prioritize your mental health like you would your physical health. Exercise your mind with new challenges and positive self-talk. The only thing stopping you from doing what you have to do is the excuse in your head saying that you can't. Time doesn't heal. It's what you do with the time. When you stop trying to please everyone, you begin to understand who truly values you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. People who play roles will eventually forget their lines. Pay attention. Time is the only thing you can get more of, and yet you sell it dirt cheap. The more seriously you take yourself, the unhappier you're going to be. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. We often overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate what is possible in 5. Start prioritizing your mental health instead of adjusting to toxic spaces. You must discipline yourself carefully. You must keep the promises you make to yourself and reward yourself so that you can trust and motivate yourself. Your wound is not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. When you know yourself, you stop fearing missing out on things that are not meant for you. You learn a lot about people when they don't get what they want from you. Why is happiness so elusive? Because you look for it in the future instead of in the present. Success does not consist in never making mistakes, but in never making the same one a second time. The same red flags you ignore in the beginning will be the same reason it all ends. Time is a created thing. To say, "I don't have time," is like saying, "I don't want to." How to treat your body before you are 45 is how your body will treat you after you are 45. Every broken promise to yourself is a vote against the man you want to become. Sometimes we don't want to heal because the pain is the last link to what we've lost. The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you. Don't hold your breath on people doing the right or ethical thing. People make decisions based on self-interests, not on what is right. Even a correct decision is wrong when it's too late. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. Experience is the worst teacher. It gives you the test before the lesson. Time is what we want most, but what we use worst. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. Choose your habits carefully. They decide your future. Healing isn't about becoming who you were before. It's about letting go of what broke you and building someone stronger. You will only know true freedom when you no longer wish to impress anyone. The world will not treat you better just because you're a good person. Perhaps you are overvaluing what you don't have and undervaluing what you do. You won't know what is right for you until you experience enough wrong. The days are long, but the years are short. You only get one body. Take care of it. You'll have it all your life, and while it is incredibly resilient, it can only give you what you put in. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Healing also means taking an honest look at the role you play in your own suffering. In the end, it is important to remember that we cannot become what we need to be by remaining what we are. You're allowed to be happy before you've fixed everything. Any lesson you refuse to learn will repeat itself until you change. Trouble is, you think you have time. People don't decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Don't be afraid of losing people. Be afraid of losing yourself by trying to please everyone around you. Ignoring red flags because you want to see the good in people will cost you later. Most people judge your mistakes by what they fear for themselves, not by your intentions. Be proud of who you are, but never let pride blind you to the value of others. Don't be afraid to let go of the past. You'll be surprised at how many opportunities come into your life when you make room for new energy. The obstacle isn't the enemy, it's the training. What feels like it's stopping you is actually shaping you into someone who can handle what's next. Every problem you face teaches you something you wouldn't have learned any other way. And that lesson builds strength, sharpens thinking, forces resourcefulness. Life doesn't fix itself because you hope. You fix it by choosing, acting, and walking away from what doesn't serve you. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. If you're not willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time, you can't do anything truly new. More requires a version of you that handles pressure without folding. You're asking for the crown, but you're still crying about the weight. Don't choose a woman just for how she makes you feel. Choose one who makes your life stable. Some people don't want a solution. They want you to stay in the problem with them. Never build your life around someone who can leave at any moment. The hardest truth: some people will only love you as long as you're easy to control. You can spend years being patient with the wrong person and call it loyalty, when it's really just fear of starting over. When you know the value of your time, you don't waste it. You don't lose people by telling the truth. You lose them by revealing it. Most regrets come from what you didn't say, not what you said. Desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. The person you lie to the most will always be yourself. If you keep tolerating it, don't complain about it. Not every apology deserves forgiveness. Sometimes it deserves distance. If you keep giving people second chances, don't be surprised when they give you the same mistake twice. You can't save someone from themselves. The best you can do is refuse to drown with them. Don't confuse someone's kindness with their loyalty. They can be generous and still betray you. If you have to chase respect, you've already lost it. You can't fix people who don't see a problem in what they do. If you ignore disrespect once, you teach people it's allowed forever. A calm life is built by boring decisions repeated every day. If you don't upgrade who you are, the life you're chasing will eventually crush you. The easiest way to ruin your life is to ignore small problems for too long. When you explain your boundaries but don't enforce them, people learn they can push past them. If someone benefits from your confusion, they're not on your side. Not every problem needs fixing. Some need leaving.